What's up, everyone? Anthony Anderson here, co-founder of Elite Resource Team. Hope you're doing well. I apologize in advance for any background noise. I am recording this video from my home patio in downtown San Diego. It is the middle of April 2020. We are still in the thick of the work from home order. Coronavirus, unprecedented times. So in today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about some key questions you should be asking business owner clients. Anytime there's something such as the coronavirus, it forces us to face kind of our own mortality. And as a result of that, we're seeing some key planning opportunities spike. One is estate planning, and the second is any type of business planning or risk planning when it comes to buy-sell agreements. And that's what I primarily want to focus on, is for any prospects or clients that own businesses, some key questions we want to be talking to them about. I'm also thinking there's probably a future video here for non-business owner clients focused on how to uncover estate planning concerns or needs right now. If that's something that would be potentially interesting to you, just make that comment below. Let me know you'd like that type of video. Happy to film that maybe even next week. Otherwise, every Friday we release free videos like this, hopefully focused on educational content. If you're interested in that, go ahead and hit that subscription button. And last but not least, if you're excited about the video, hit that little thumbs up, that little like sign below, please. All right, so some key questions to be asking business owners. And again, you notice I said prospects or clients. The reason this is timely is because right now I'm expecting everybody is reaching out to their clients. That's super important, of course, right? Open, consistent communication right now. But you should also be reaching out to any prospects. Anybody you spoke to over the last 3 to 4 years that didn't move forward with you, reach out to them now. Find out what decisions they made instead of working with you, and how is that working for them. But more importantly, make sure you communicate to them, before you ask how it's working for them, what you're doing for your clients. So what did you do in preparation for this type of time? How have you helped them mitigate risk? How have you helped them mitigate expenses, mitigate taxes? How have you put them in the best possible situation to handle in unprecedented times such as this? Okay, so that's with prospects. Now, once we've had that conversation, now we're on the same page, whether it's a prospect or a client. I want to know, if you own a business, tell me a little bit about your circumstance. Do you have business partners? Oh, you do. How many? What % of the company do you own? Now, you'll see where I'm going with this quickly, right? They have business partners. They have, let's say, 50% of the ownership, and I'm just going to role play a little bit here. Yeah, I have a business partner, one partner, and we own it 50-50. Great. So tell me a little bit about your buy-sell agreement. I personally prefer, rather than saying, do you have a buy-sell? That's a yes or no question. It's very easy for people to kind of fudge a little bit. Yeah, I got one. Sure, okay, next. You know, a lot of CPAs, financial advisors, even estate planning attorneys, insurance agents, I see make those kind of yes or no questions and then just move right on like we're just trying to get things done and check a box. I'm gonna say, tell me a little bit about your buy-sell. And they're gonna say, well, sometimes we don't have one. Wow, so what would happen if, next week your business partner got hit with the coronavirus and God forbid didn't make it out of this? The key is we want them to be thinking what would happen, that it's actually incredibly risky to be running a business without a buy-sell. But let's say they do have one. What other questions are we gonna ask? Okay, perfect, so tell me a little bit about that. When was it created? We started the company in 2014, so it's probably created like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Wow, interesting. So has anything changed in your business over those 5 or 6 years? Yeah, of course. I mean, at that point, it was just my business partner and I and one admin person, and I think now we're up to like 15 or 16 employees, and we've probably gone from 500,000 of revenue to like, I think last year we were just shy of 4 million of revenue. Okay, so a lot has changed. So how frequent are you updating this buy-sell agreement? And obviously the answer is, if they have one, which by the way, most business owners in partnerships do not have buy-sells. If they have one, a lot of them also have not been updated for years. They're just sitting in a desk somewhere or on a computer somewhere, completely outdated. But let's say it was recently created. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Oh, I created it about 6 months ago. And my company's all about the same. Everything's been stable, maybe even a little bit of a downturn now with the coronavirus. Okay, great. So tell me a little bit about the funding mechanism you chose with this buy-sell. Now, No surprise here, a lot of business owners, even if they created a buy-sell agreement, do not have it funded. It means some attorney got paid a couple $1,000, they put the buy-sell agreement in a file somewhere, and they literally have no funding vehicle for that buy-sell. So the exact same question, I don't even actually know. I don't know, we've got like 150, 200,000 in savings maybe. So you would use that to fund your buy-sell. So you said your company's doing just shy of $4 million. You own 50%. So you're saying you would use $150,000, which by the way, you should probably keep in savings for a safety net, but to buy out your partner's 50%? Doesn't sound likely. It sounds like you just got a new business partner, your partner's spouse. So incredibly irresponsible. And it's important that we have a business buy-sell agreement funded. So that then leads to what's the best funding mechanism for a buy-sell agreement? You know, there's some varying opinion here. I think it's pretty obvious that it's life insurance. You know, it's planning for an inevitable event down the road for pennies on the dollar. That's what life insurance does. And because it's within the company, it gives us all types of flexibility in terms of what we want to do. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of term insurance. When you got a business owner doing a couple $1,000,000 a year gross revenue, it means their net worth should be pretty solid. And in that kind of scenario, I'm probably going to be looking at, should we premium finance the life insurance? Or if they have a high enough net worth, should we premium fund? Which is a little bit of a more advanced strategy, but a great one as well. I really don't care though what your view is on life insurance or premium financing or premium funded or term insurance or whatever you want. I just care about, are our clients getting taken care of? We need buy-sell agreements, period. We need to fund those buy-sell agreements, period. And personally, I think life insurance is designed to protect for that type of risk. One of the reasons I personally love working with clients with buy-sell agreements is because what came in as just one prospect or one client, right? I'm working now with one. As soon as they have a business partner, I'm now working with 2 potential clients. Or let's say they have 3 business partners or 4 business partners, right? There's all types of different ways we can structure our buy-sell agreements, but all of those relationships should be appropriately funded, and we should be getting multiple new clients out of that opportunity. There's also different types of ways to kind of get creative with buy-sell agreements. We can do things like capital split dollar, right? There's all types of more advanced ways I'm not going to cover because I don't have enough time necessarily in this video. If you want me to do an additional video on funding options for buy-sell agreements, make that comment below. That might be kind of a neat video to do in the future. But there's a few more key questions before I wrap this one up. So again, just to summarize so far, so tell me a little bit about your business. Do you have any business partners? What % of the company do you own? Tell me a little bit about your buy-sell agreement. When was it last updated? How is it funded? These are all important questions to ask. And then I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to say, okay, good. So what I think would be important to do is for my team of advanced business specialists and I to sit down, do a free analysis of your business, the risk you're exposed to, and come back to you with a kind of a risk-benefit ratio for you to look at and decide, does it make sense to either update the buy-sell, to create a buy-sell, to fund a buy-sell, whatever their circumstance might be. I personally always like the idea of my team and I like putting in there my team of advanced planning specialists or advanced business planning specialists. I think in this year of 2020, it's obvious that we shouldn't be a jack of all trades. That's like high school football players, right? We want to be professionals. So we work with a team of other professionals. So I think it's going to be important for my team of advanced business planning specialists to speak with your CPA, because what we want to make sure we do is have a collective conversation to ensure that we're not suggesting anything that conflicts with what your CPA has planned for you or maybe is even already working on. Rather, we want to make sure that all of your professionals are working synergistically. That is by far the way that you get the best comprehensive advice. So what I'd like to do as soon as we get off the phone here is send you over an email, and it's going to be templated out for you. All you're going to need to do is forward that to your CPA. What's your CPA's name, by the way? Oh, Paula. Okay, great. So I'm going to send you an email. You just forward that to Paula. CC me on that email. Then I will respond and take that conversation from there with Paula. I'll just, like I said, make sure that there's nothing that my team and I are considering that contradict with what she's already having planned for you or perhaps she's looked at in the past. And I think also based on what you've told me a little bit about Paula, you know, if it's the type of relationship where she's doing good business, good proactive planning for business owners like you. There might be other clients I have that would be interested in getting an introduction to Paula as well. So as soon as I get off the phone, I'm going to forward my client that email that I'm going to then ask that client to forward to Paula. As soon as I get that response, I'm going to respond and say, let's say the client's name is Joe. Joe, thank you so much for the introduction. Paula, I look forward to talking. How's next Tuesday at 11 a.m. work for you? Couple things. Never ask for the CPA's name and phone number and you call them yourself. You always want a warm introduction, whether it's from a prospect or a client or just a friend. You always want a warm introduction. The other thing is you always want to write out that email for the client so they forward it. I've said this in videos before. You'll hear me say it again. You always want to control the controllables. So that's why we send the pre-written email to the client. We don't want them to go off and say something unscripted. We want them to simply forward that email, CC us, we respond as I just said, and then what we're doing in this follow-up phone call with Paula should be very short, 5 to 10 minutes. We have it all scripted out. I'm happy to film a future video on that. But in short, here's what you're doing. You're laying the groundwork with a friendly conversation. 9 times out of 10, when advisors tell me CPAs are deal killers, it's because you didn't do the right prep work. You didn't plant the friendly seed up front. You waited until the 9th inning, you let the client bring this to their CPA, and then what's the CPA gonna say? They're kind of backed in a corner like, I'm uncomfortable with it. And then the client comes back to you and says, oh, sorry, I checked with my CPA, they're not comfortable with it. Why? CPAs, they're deal killers. No, you didn't do your homework and you didn't lay the groundwork. That's your fault, you're bad. So here's what you wanna do. Plant the friendly seed up front. As soon as you get that email, send it a response back as I said. Paula, I look forward to talking. How's next Tuesday at 11 work for you? Then when you get on the phone with Paula, you want to say, Paula, you know, our mutual client is expressing a little concern with me about kind of their current business situation, and I work with a team of advanced business specialists. However, I know you have a really good relationship with Joe. I've done a lot of work with CPAs. I know one of the things that is incredibly frustrating for you is when other professionals get in there, whether it's financial advisors, insurance agents, bankers, business brokers, and they make suggestions that don't consider the relationship you have and don't think about the potential tax ramifications of that suggestion. And so what I wanted to let you know is that I will respect that relationship. I will reach back out to you before we put anything in place. And if you have any concerns, we'll talk through them at that point. That's how you leave it. You've laid the friendly groundwork more times than not. That's enough to then go back to the CPA before you put it in place. You have a conversation without the pressure of the client being there or knowing exactly what's going on. You have a conversation as professionals. What are their concerns? What are they happy with? You work through that, and then you move forward with the client. And then what you tell the client is your CPA and I have been discussing and they're comfortable with this as well. Here's what my team and I think makes sense for you. Then once you've concluded all that work for your mutual client, then you circle back with Paula and you talk a little bit about, you know, some mutual potential synergy between your business models. You always meet in neutral playing field. I like lunch out at a restaurant if we're back from the coronavirus. Otherwise, meet on Zoom. And I think the last thing I would say is, you know, just respect that relationship that the CPA has with the client. Respect that relationship and ask these type of questions because they're so often overlooked. Just take a little bit more time to care, do good planning, do proactive, holistic planning, and by far, you win the loyalty of the client, you also win the business that comes along with it. So I hope that was helpful. If it was, please give it a thumbs up below. Also, as I said, every Friday we release new videos like this, so just go ahead and subscribe. And if you're interested in learning more about how we actually train and help financial advisors, wealth managers work synergistically with CPAs and attorneys, I'll be sure to post a free 20-minute training video in the description below. That's it for today. Stay safe, stay healthy.